Greetings, secret agents, and welcome to the first developer live stream for Agent Intercept. My name is Josh Kamau, and I'll be your host today as we sit down with our developers to talk about the story and art of Agent Intercept, coming to Steam in June. Today, we'll be taking an exclusive in-depth look at the story and art of Agent Intercept, as well as showcasing some of the gameplay that promises to make Agent Intercept an epic thrill ride filled with intrigue, betrayal, and mystery. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our design manager, Rick Stemm, as he gives us an in-depth look at the story of Agent Intercept.
This is Rick Stemm, design manager at Pickpock and narrative designer on Agent Intercept, trying to bring our exciting story to life.
Agent incoming. Take it down. Oh my.
In Agent Intercept, you play an elite super spy piloting a transforming spy vehicle to save the day again and again. Players can always expect a moment where they're just going to be presented with a literally impossible obstacle and then feel amazing when they solve it. We always want to make sure, too, that only they can solve those obstacles. Only the player, only you and your amazing transforming scepter can save the day. I couldn't be more excited about the Steam launch of Agent Intercept. This has been a dream project for me. This game, more than anything I've ever worked on, just keeps getting more and more and more and more. Every chapter of Agent Intercept is more ridiculous, more intense, more fun than the chapter before it, and I think that's what people are going to like. So as a narrative designer, I work pretty closely with all the departments, especially design, of course, and art and tech, though I really like to get everybody involved. So, for example, when I was pitching a new chapter or even a new stage, I would try to get everybody in the room so we could learn what are the restrictions for this? What are the opportunities that we want to try? What are the models or environments that we want to use? What are the design pillars we want to hit? And everybody's contributing to there, then everybody gets on the same page and we all know what this level is going to be about. We're all on board with the high energy of it and we all are already aligned to work together on this. So that's a great way that narrative design hits every department in production and tries to help them get in the same vision. Tone is, I think, one of the hardest things in game design, really in any media. I think the difference between really good and great things is often the tone. Any piece of art, if it has a good tone and knows what it is, it knows what its feel and its mood is and it stays consistent, it just feels really well put together and it can pull you along the story. I think one of the best things that Agent Intercept does is know what its tone is. This game knows what it's about, it knows how ridiculous it is, it knows the right kind of ridiculousness, which means everybody working on this game has a similar vision. It means that when tech is trying to build things, they're trying to expand our boundaries of what we're going to allow the player to do. It means art can have a lot of fun just pushing those edges of what's possible. It means designers can go nuts with the kind of content they want to do. For the story, there wasn't one specific inspiration for the story. It was more this pastiche of, I want to do every crazy action thing I could think of. I want to do every crazy spy trope I can think of. How do I boil those down to their essence and get all those things that you expect? We want people to go into this going, man, if I were watching or making a ridiculous spy thing, I'd want this to happen, and then that happens. Or if I know spy tropes, this reveal is going to happen, and then that happens. We really want to reward people who have been engaging with this fiction and kind of know and go, oh, yeah, cool. That reminds me of that movie. That reminds me of this moment. Or just like, oh, if this action movie's doing it right, then they're gonna go there. So it's trying to create this world that's less about referencing one story and more about just people who love the genre getting all the things they love about it. And then going even further than that and giving them things they didn't expect. So every Agent Intercept level starts with hopefully a pretty simple key idea. Someone's been captured and you have to rescue her. Claw is hiding in a secret base and you need to infiltrate the secret base. There's a race across the desert and you need to win this race to get some technology. And then that idea gets put to the designers in tech and art to see what's possible. So the design team was really great about collaboratively going, hey, here's what we can do, can you pull it back a notch into that? And I was happy to do that. Or going, hey, that's cool, let's test this out and see if it's possible. So talking a sec about the characters of Agent Intercept. we wanted to start with recognizable tropes to help get you in the game and understand who these characters were and serve a function in the game. So we've got HQ, who's the director of the agency, and she does serve that function as very mission-focused, giving you your orders, directing you. HQ is also sort of a mother figure. She really cares about you, and she cares about the other agent. And we'll see her be mission-focused, but then abort a mission to save your life. Or we'll see her get really excited about the player doing something amazing and laugh at the ridiculous thing you're doing and be there along with you. Likewise with Dr. Torpair. He's this nerdy Q research and development type, and we get that, and he technobabbles about the gadgets, but rather than being antisocial, he's actually very talkative, and he's laughing at inappropriate times and getting excited about the tech that the villains are bringing at you, but he's not cowardly, he's hands-on. We actually see him in the game risking himself because he believes in the goal, and we actually added this darker side to him too, where he is one of the older members of the agency, and he's seen these wars with Claw in the past, and it kind of left these scars on him, so we see this more serious side of him. So all these characters, we tried to give many layers in the game to make them feel a little bit more fleshed out, even though they are based on these tropes and they are driving this ridiculous action. Agent Intercept has such great villains. I knew I wanted to have this plot that literally put the world in danger. So it's kind of something I worked backwards from. I wanted to make sure that the villain had just an incredibly, unbelievably world-spanning epic plot, but I wanted it to feel earned, and I wanted her to feel that she was trying to do something good with it. I mean, she's clearly a bad guy, but our villain, Eris, has a little bit of that, like she thinks she's doing the world a favor by doing this. One of the most exciting features about the Steam launch and the updates for Agent Intercept is voice acting.
You're too late! The fuse is lit! And so am I!
This serves so many purposes. It highlights the action because you can focus on the visuals while you're listening to it. It highlights the story because you can actually hear and pay attention, and you also get the personalities of the characters. So going back to the beginning, casting for Agent Intercept was really difficult because we knew we wanted a diverse cast of characters, and that was represented in the art and in their voices, and we wanted the voice actors to do that. Working with the voice actors in the studio, I really tried to stay out of their way. I think the great thing about this game, as we've talked about before, is it knows what this is, its tone is there. So the more I could just describe to the actors, hey, here's what's happening in the scene, here's the ridiculous stuff going on, they were just kind of like, cool, I got it, and then let them go. Really, the only major direction I gave them is that the characters needed to be grounded. The game is ridiculous. The set pieces are ridiculous. The gameplay is so over the top, but the characters can't be. They have to believe in it. And that both grounds you and makes you care about them and the story, and juxtaposed against the ridiculous story makes it even more ridiculous. And they really understood that. So HQ is played by Jen Van Epps, and Jen has a really great, authoritative voice, but I actually think the best thing she brought to it is that she's a mom. And so she was really able to bring out that care that HQ has when she's sincerely worried about you and sincerely worried about the other characters. And that sincerity is felt. And her care, I think, really carries you through the story.
Now I have more questions than answers, but let's take some time.
Phil Brown, who plays Dr. Torpair, plus secret characters, is just such a joy. He's a video game fan, and so he brings such a good energy. He knows the tone well, and he matches that tone with his voice. And so Torpair has a lot of kind of highfalutin lines, and he brings these Shakespearean moments to them. This is really fun. But he's also not afraid to know when to go down and when to keep it really small to juxtapose with that, so he was really great. He also plays a robot, and he plays it so well that we completely threw out, I rewrote how this robot talked because his performance was so good. And he brought so much, I was gonna direct him one way, but he did this other thing, and I was like, oh my God, that's so much better. So it was just a great thing of just standing out of the way of someone who intuits what a scene needs and brings it.
Loki is launched. Soon, we will control all the world's systems.
Funny enough, our villain, Donna Reese, who plays Eris, our villain, was so perfect. It's the kind of thing where had I heard Donna's voice and then created Eris, I would have created Eris exactly as she is based on Donna's voice. Though it happened the other way. The voice, we all heard it and we're like, oh, that's the character. It was so perfect. And she's such a lovely lady, but was just the most threatening. Everything she said was scary. And she was great because even in her audition, she did that. So before she even got into the character, she was like, this is Donna Reese reading for Eris. We're like, oh man, damn. So she knew how to cut right through and get us excited.
I'll bring such force to bear as
is Ragnarok, the legendary end of the world, made real for you today.
I couldn't be more excited about this Steam release. And it speaks volumes to the team that we were able to pull this off. So what I would say is, if you're like me, if you go to even the Fast and the Furious movies and go, it was pretty ridiculous, I guess. This is the game that's just more, more, more. If you want more, we're giving you more. You won't get bored, you won't forget it, I promise you, you'll have fun. Thank you, fans. The best part about making video games, I don't lie, the best part is hearing from you. The reviews, the YouTube comments, everything. We really appreciate everybody playing the game, and we read every comment, we hear all your reviews. Thank you. I'm glad you love this game as much as we do.
Wow, a lot of mystery, intrigue, and story coming to the world of Agent Intercept. Hearing about the passion and literal drive behind creating a diverse cast of characters really gives you an idea of the crazy high-stakes story events they will have in Agent Intercept once it releases. But it's not just about the story. Agent Intercept features a retro aesthetic, an amazing cast of characters, and larger-than-life set pieces that'll see players exploring villainous lairs, weaponized pyramids, and maybe even space itself. The sky's the limit as we explore the art of Agent Intercept with Robin Wilson-Davey coming up next.
Kia ora, hi, my name is Robin and I am the lead artist on Agent Intercept here at Pickpock. So usually when people ask me what Agent Intercept is about, I say that it's like a super cool secret spy kind of driving game with a kind of arcadey feel and very kind of vibrant retro graphics. So as a production artist, you get to do everything from building assets to put in the game, making the cutscenes, and kind of just like filling out everything that you see when you're playing the game. Some of the things that I've been responsible for putting in the game have been building some of the set pieces, like the big rockets that you may or may not drive on, or kind of tweaking the lighting, or also kind of animating the cutscenes. So in general, one of the great things about moving from a mobile platform to the PC platform is that we just have a lot more freedom to do whatever we want with the graphics and kind of just make things more immersive or just more detailed, or to kind of just like pull people into the game and blow their minds a lot more. So one of the specific things we've done to improve the graphics is adding motion blur, which kind of really enhances the feeling of speed that you get when you drive fast. So this is quite a cool kind of stylized effect that, like, kind of rather than the normal motion blur you'd see in like a movie, it's kind of like cool kind of jagged lines that appear around stuff when you're moving really fast. One of the other cool things that we've done is really up the quality of the water, so that while you're driving as a speedboat, you can see kind of the reflections of the water and kind of feel, see kind of movement of foam and stuff like that, so it looks kind of a little bit more realistic. One of the things that I'm particularly proud of that people might not notice so much is the depth of field. I come from kind of like a film and kind of camera background, so I'm a bit of a camera nerd, so getting that kind of like focus, that sense of focus and depth in the game is really amazing for me. So I'm really fortunate working on Agent Intercept that we have a really strong art team. All the artists have a lot of experience and are really good at what they do. Some of my day is just kind of going around to catch up with them and seeing what they're doing, and usually just being blown away every time by the things that they achieve. So we took a lot of inspiration from old spy movies and illustrations from the 60s because they're very vibrant and fun and playful and kind of have this kind of bombastic, larger-than-life kind of approach to action. One of the ways that we help Agent Intercept feel kind of crazy and over the top and larger than life is with the cutscenes. So we do a lot of dramatic stuff with those. There's one particular cutscene where the car manages to jump on a rocket as it's launching into space. And so we use a few different camera techniques. We have some parts where the camera's static and we're letting the kind of car do all the work and kind of drifting past the camera super fast, looking super cool. And then there are other parts of that cutscene where the camera is kind of like moving dynamically along with the car to capture this kind of crazy action that's going on as it's like shooting up the scaffolding and jumping onto a launching rocket.
Stay with that rocket!
No! Impossible!
When your main character is a car without a face, it can be quite tricky to kind of make it feel, I don't know, like it has some intention and emotion to it. And I think obviously the only way we can do that is through its movement, through its animation. And so to kind of, I think the main thing with the Scepter is that it needs to feel super competent and like a super spy. So everything it does at like 200% with a kind of slickness and efficiency of movement. Yeah, that's kind of the best way I can describe it. The main also way you can kind of get like little refined pieces of movement is like in the way the car, like its weight shifts on its axles. You can kind of get like a surprising amount of like feeling just by how you tweak that. So the process of making the cutscenes on Agent Intercept usually starts with the story team. I think you guys have spoken to Rick already, kind of coming up with some crazy ideas and writing something ridiculous into a script. And then we'll have a meeting as a team, usually with like pretty much the whole Agent Intercept team. We'll get into a room and just kind of discuss that and throw out ideas and decide whether something is too ridiculous or not. Usually we thought that nothing was ever too ridiculous. And then once we've kind of gotten the beats kind of nailed down, one of the artists will go and put together a storyboard to kind of make sure we've got a good understanding of what we're going to try to achieve visually. And then they go and animate it in the game. One of the areas where kind of the story team and the art team and the design team were all kind of like one-upping each other to just kind of make things more and more ridiculous was the boss fight with the helicopter in the last level of the first chapter. From the story point of view, it was just that you got to the end of the level and there was some idea about maybe driving through a tunnel. At some point you get to like fire a missile at the helicopter and you're damaged enough so that it blows up. Like I can't remember who had what idea, but like someone thought about before that you kind of like punch through the helicopter so that you kind of damage it, but then it doesn't die, it comes back to life. And then someone else had the idea that like the helicopter can be chasing you through the tunnel like in Die Hard or Terminator, you know, and like the blades are trying to kill you and stuff like that, and so that kind of all got added into the mix. And then, yeah, usually someone's always like, oh, and then we can just like add an extra explosion here. There's never enough explosions, I think, in Agent Intercept. Yeah. So now that we're approaching the Steam launch, I think mostly I'm just feeling super excited. Everyone on the Agent Intercept team has worked really hard, and I think we've done something pretty awesome. So yeah, I think I can't wait for everyone to play it and experience the ridiculousness. Thanks very much, everyone, and enjoy the game. Thanks.
The PC version of Agent Intercept features some graphic updates and visual effects improvements that strive to capture the aesthetic and nostalgia of some of our favorite spy movies. It also promises to deliver thrilling, over-the-top action that really lets you feel like a super spy, using high-tech gadgets as well as your own state-of-the-art transforming spy car. There's still so much to be discovered about the world of Agent Intercept, and we are so excited to get you behind the wheel and saving the world against the evil organization known as Claw. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, to end our live stream, we would love to share with you the latest Agent Intercept trailer. Best of luck out there, Agent. We'll see you next time.
Agency fools. You foiled me once. broke yourselves against my forces before sealing me away in this wretched prison. But I have wheels turning. Claw is no petty organization of crime and terror. It is my finely tuned machine, instrument of my grand design. And you think you can stop me with your transformation technology? Very well. We shall play this game. And each move you make will bring you one step closer to your own destruction.
This world of ever-changing landscapes on postcards and faces of memories in this life of sacrifice. In the end, memories will always win. No